Next, Kev.
The pound for pound list. Your top 5, my top 5. Oh man, I can hear this already. Casual City. I love it.
I know you. Do I start or do you want to start?
My list versus your list. Oh man, I dominate every year, man.
Yeah, whatever. May I go?
It don't matter who go.
My number 5, I believe it was your fight of the year. I'm gonna go with Ilya Topuria.
Okay.
Like you said, he's the boogeyman. He's the villain. He took out the golden featherweight in Alex Volkanovski. He did something that hasn't been done before in knocking out Max Holloway, who's the current BMF champ. And his determination to move up another weight class and his call outs is just he's the man. I put him as pound for pound number 5. Number 4, you gotta keep this man on the list. Islam Makhachev. Like his domination.
Number 4.
Number 4, and I'm getting to why. Number 4, his domination of the lightweight division is still uncontested. Even the way that, remember you spoke about the comparison of his fight between Dustin and Khabib's fight against Dustin. His ability to his resilience, his ability to withstand adversity. He's the man carrying that torch from that camp. He's still that dude. Number 4. Number 3, Alex Pereira, bro. Like he is, like I said, the company man, the man saving the events whenever the UFC needs someone to save a pay-per-view event. The call-outs from John Jones and stuff and things of that nature. Matter of fact, and the reason why I also give him pound because he actually did it. He dominated one weight division and he moved to another weight division and dominated the same weight. So he is a living, actual real-life example of what a pound-for-pound fighter does. Like you take your skill set and put it in any weight division where you dominate the same weight. He's doing it in front of all of us. Number 3.
So I just let me just ask a question. So Alex Pereira dominated middleweight.
Bro, who the one who beat him was Izzy.
All right, no problem. Just asking.
I mean, if you want to go back, you said
he dominated middleweight. I just asked a question. I asked the question. Last time I seen him at middleweight, he got knocked. But go ahead.
He did his thing. I mean, but who knocked him out? Who knocked him out?
If you got knocked out the last fight in the weight class, I mean,
who knocked him out?
Israel Adesanya.
The same dude who doesn't want to run it back. It's the dude who doesn't want to run it back.
I mean, listen. According to you, 2 episodes ago, we talked about, and I don't want to jump into your. We had an episode about Max Holloway. And the question was, did he get ran out of the division? And you stood firm and said because he did not stay there, that he got ran out of the division. I'm of the belief that what's his name? And I said to you then, I said he left for a better opportunity. He wasn't going to get a rematch right away. You said he should have stayed. This is your words, not mine. So to me, Alex Pereira was only one fight over fighting Izzy again. Izzy ain't John Jones the way he telling the UFC, I'm not fighting him. He's not John Jones for saying that. He was one fight off and he left. But go ahead.
Honestly, bro.
According to your standards, he got ran out the division. But go ahead.
No, I'm telling you he didn't because Izzy don't want that smoke. We all know this. Come on, man.
Matter.
Izzy don't want that smoke.
It don't matter. What is he going to do? Retire?
Huh?
What Izzy was going to do? Retire? Listen, the only person that was getting the title shot before Pereira was going to be Duplessis. Remember, what's the name already knocked Strickland out? Peloton already knocked Strickland out. He had to wait one fight, bro. One fight, and he would have got the rematch.
Bro,
I'm
not trying to. I hear what you're saying, but if I call the dude out for another one, and he's telling me, I got the last fight, I can sleep easy at night. He's giving me all kinds of bullshit, coping answers. Let me move on.
He got ran out. Go ahead. He got ran out. By your standards, he got ran out.
I'm telling you right now, he didn't get run out because he called out Izzy for another one, and Izzy's like, I'm good. So he didn't get run out. He moved on. And he's doing the same thing in lightweight what he was doing in middleweight. Now, because why would you?
John Jones, you ain't gotta explain no more. You ain't gotta explain no more. You ain't gotta explain no more. It's all right.
Number two, I'm gonna say the who I feel is a real heavyweight champ, Tom Aspinall.
Number two.
Number two, bro.
Okay.
Number two. And I'm gonna tell you why. Number two, I'm gonna tell you why.
Ooh, I thought I had a list. Damn.
Because at the end of the day, the fight we want to see is the fight we want to see. But until that fight happens, we gotta keep the benefit of the doubt to who the GOAT is, which is number one in John Jones. I want to see John Jones versus Tom Aspinall because to me, there's so much significance in that fight. And if you beat the champ and you beat the pound for pound, to me, he not only, I'm not saying he takes away John Jones' legacy, but first of all, you can no longer call John Jones pound for pound. And Tom Aspinall is cleaning up the heavyweight division in a way that no other champ has ever done it. He's on his way to becoming the greatest heavyweight champ, with or without fighting John Jones. And if he adds the John Jones fight to his belt and beats him, you could say he'll be, with a few more fights, you could say he'll be like, especially if he fights Tom Aspinall and does the same to him too. If Aspinall decides to move to heavyweight, this is me just coming with different thoughts. Bruh, he could be the pound for pound top dude in a couple years if he continues on this trajectory. But I'm gonna keep it as number two for now. And this is coming off of last year, 2024.
So can I ask a question about number two? So he's number two based on potential.
No. I'm based on what he's done so far. But I'm saying what I'm saying is, if he continues on that trajectory, I could see him becoming number one in a few years. I was just throwing out forethought, but from right now, I put him as number two, bro.
Number two, based on what he's done so far. Number two. Okay. All right.
Bro, his
what has he done so far? No, I mean, don't get as a heavyweight, yeah, but in parallel to everybody else on the list.
Bro, this dude has the shortest fight time out of everyone I put on that list.
Okay, I no problem. No. This is your criteria. This is your list. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking. So it's okay. So it's based on dominance.
Yo, bro,
based on
crazy.
It's based on dominance.
That's the point. That's the criteria. That's the criteria. Like, this dude is like. Could you imagine if he does to John Jones what he does to the other dudes? And can you imagine, like, honestly, and like I said, this is more forethought. And this is the reason why John Jones says he wants what he was called FU money. He can make John Jones look like how John Jones made Gane look. There's a possibility in that. Like we talk about Ili Tapori knocking out Max Holloway. The visual of seeing John Jones' eyes roll back, looking up at the ceiling. That's a very serious potential. Go on. What are you gonna say?
No, it just feels like, but what you just said, the visual of it, but it hasn't happened. Tapori and him made that happen.
I was just
things that we was like, I can't imagine that happened.
Yes, right. But again, I'm basing on his dominance now. This definitely not perceived dominance. That's not perceived at all. Remember, there was a time when we thought when Jones and Stipe was really supposed to fight, everyone thought that, how should I put this? When Jones and Stipe were supposed to fight, that the backup fight at the time was
Pavlovich, Sergey Pavlovich, right?
Sergey Pavlovich. Bro, he was the dude that everyone said that John Jones was afraid to fight. He was considered the boogeyman after heavyweight division at the time.
Yeah. He was hot. He was white hot. He was white hot. Yeah.
No one was even looking at Tom Aspinall. At the time, Tom Aspinall was coming off an injury, of course, and stuff like this. Tom Aspinall was coming back from an injury.
Yeah, people wasn't. Yes, I agree with that.
He went in there and made Sergey look human again. He did that to the perceived boogeyman of the heavyweight division at the time. His dominance is unquestioned, and again, like his fight time is shorter than everyone else that I mentioned on that list, bro.
Okay.
This man has not seen round two.
But I'll ask one last question, I'll let it go. Because I know what my pound for pound is. With pound for pound, being a champion is a big thing. If you're not a champion and we're putting you ahead of champions, bro, he isn't. I'm just throwing it out there. He isn't legitimately a champion. We have other champions on the list that are streaking. People that
Everyone on
done
that
won
list is a
Islam,
champion.
done
Everyone
won
on my,
15.
everyone on my list is a champion though.
Yeah, intern champion is okay. All right.
You know what's so funny?
All
Here's the
right.
thing. No. Normally I would agree with you on that, but here's the thing: the heavyweight division is such in a weird state right now. Yo, you can argue real talk right now. There are two real champs in the heavyweight division, bro. When has there been a situation where there's an intern champ and heavyweight champs still fight someone else?
I agree with that. That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
fair.
the heavy division is the heavy division is in such a weird state. Like it's mind-boggling that there's still a possibility that John Jones might fight someone else.
And it's because no, and it's because something that we've harped on before. It seems like whenever John Jones is associated with something, it kind of gets a little blurry.
Bro,
the lines get blurred.
Right.
In all ways. Whether or not he's the GOAT, that's blurry. Whether or not he took a substance, that's blurry. Right. They moved the fight over from here to here, that's blurry. Usually an interim champion, Stipe, we waited 2 years for Stipe, that's blurry. So yes, Aspinall has a legitimate argument for actually being the champ. I will not. I won't. I just don't agree with him being your list though, ahead of a lot of these people. And you got John Jones, the GOAT, at number 1, right?
At number 1.
All right. Now, well, that was a list. I was feeling. I wasn't sure about my list. My shoulders just felt really light.
I want to hear your list.
I want to start before I start, and that's a cool list. That's a cool list. I respect your explanations for the picks. For me, I like to start off with the criteria. I always like to start off with the criteria, so because I don't assume that we have the same criteria. For me, perceived dominance, basically what you've done so far, how dominant you've been, and based on that, looking at the landscape, how dominant I can see you being going on. That's a big thing. Resume, beating people in the top 5. Streaking, how far are you streaking into your championship? Things like that. These are things that I look at when it comes to pound for pound and what have you. And I want to say this too: losses count. Losses count. If you've been knocked out, you losing points for that. Recently especially. So I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Bilal Muhammad. His win over Leon, who was in the top 5, I think I will mention that honorable mention. The name. Yeah, we gotta give him his respect. He's not on my list because of perceived dominance. I'm not sure about his next fight. So I'm gonna start with number 5. I got John Jones at number 5. Why is he on the? Yeah, I'm going with John Jones, number 5. Why is he on the? Yeah. I don't know what you talking about.
I respect it.
Why is he on the list? His overall resume. His win against Gane brings his past resume current. He was out for about 3 years. His win against Gane brings everything current. He is a 2-division champion. That's why he's on the list. Why is he so low? Because compared to everybody else on the list, his last 2 opponents don't stack up. And then there's a 3-year hiatus in between. His last 2 don't stack up. Gane's stock was dropped. I felt dropped considerably after Ngannou, and Ngannou I think exposed Gane a bit. Yet and still, that was the best heavyweight I think at the time they fought. I think we all thought that was the best heavyweight on the roster. Nobody was really buzzing, so I give him credit for that. Having us wait 2 years for Stipe, that just drops him to 5. I'm sorry, I'm not with that. And then, like I said, it's a blurry line with John Jones. I look at perceived dominance. We talking about fighting this. Number 5. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this for John Jones. At number 4, I gotta go with Alex Pereira, bro. Alex Pereira. So my feeling is this: these are all great fighters, so I have to nitpick. And we talk about perceived dominance. This has always been an issue with me, Shelz. This is 2024. He got knocked out in 2023. That happened to Israel Adesanya. That knockout happened. Yes, he's streaking right now. He's a two division champion, but he's the only one on the list that's been knocked out recently. He has the most recent.
He called out Izzy. I'm not too sure with your list, but my issue with that, this is my issue with that, and I get that, I respect it. But my thing with that situation is this: this is the only situation to me where it seems that the dude who did the knocking out wants to fight less than the dude who got knocked out. You know what I mean? You don't like Izzy. Don't want that smoke. Pereira would love to rectify that knockout, and I don't think it's going to go the same again as easily if they went back into the octagon. Because what I did see was Pereira learn from that. Because remember what happened was Izzy caught him with the possum play. It kind of showed his inexperience where he thought he had Izzy in the corner and he kept going instead of falling back and really trying to reassess the situation. And Izzy caught him like that. And I have not seen Pereira make that mistake since.
So you haven't seen him fight Izzy since either.
Oh, but that's my point though. That's what I feel. Here's the question. From that fight, who you think evolved more?
I think evolved. I think Izzy's he's declined since. I mean, but then again, honestly, who's to say? I mean, I think Izzy, but Pereira. I think it's hard to say, bro. I think yes, it's a results based thing. So Pereira's on a 5-fight win streak in a different weight class.
Wins, bro. It's not even a win. Is what I'm seeing. When I see Pereira fight since then, I see that when sometimes you could tell that a fighter learned from their last situation, and you see that they make the same mistakes. Pereira from that fight, what I felt that he learned was to take his time. I've always seen that from Pereira since. Even when he knocked out Jamal, like he didn't just go rush into it. Like you said, he get that kick and then knocked him out. Like I've never seen Pereira make the mistake of rushing into a situation again like that. And I haven't seen Izzy learn anything new from the Pereira fight.
What's there to learn? He's at the end of his rope. You got to remember, Izzy been in the UFC. This is not Izzy was there already. Like he was already the man. Like you, it's just like, saying that I don't think. And then on top of it, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think Pereira's I don't, like I said, I'm not nitpicking. We say I think Pereira's been fighting the same type of fighters. I don't. He hasn't fought in a dominant wrestler. He hasn't fought like a Hamza. Like I don't see that. So it's hard for me to assess Pereira like that. I think he's doing great. He could have lost these fights, but he didn't. He won these fights dominantly. So I'm not taking away. But the knockout happened. You want to say he got better since? That's cool. He was the last person on this list to take an L. Like he's the most recent person on the list to take an L. He got knocked out. Anyway, and on top of that, I'm gonna say this: he could have forced the issue to fight Izzy again. He could have forced. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Izzy's saying I don't want to fight him again. That ain't got nothing to do with the UFC. That ain't got nothing to do. The only person that seems to call shots with the UFC and say is John Jones. Nobody else. Maybe Conor. Nobody else. The UFC. If I'm telling you right now, if Alex Pereira would have stayed at middleweight, Izzy would have had to retire and get a belt up. He'd have been fighting him next, right after he fought Duplessis. But at the same time, he could have forced the issue. And Israel Adesanya is still active on the roster, and somebody's on the roster that holds a knockout over you. It's there. You can say, we could melt this how you want. The man that knocked you out still sitting there on the roster. Period. Pereira at number 4. I didn't get into his positive. I think I did. He's on a five fight winning streak. 4 out of the 5 by knockout. The one was the Blachowicz fight was a decision. He's been on a tear. I have him at number 4 pound for pound. At number 3 pound for pound, who was that? Yeah, number 3 pound for pound, I got Dricus Duplessis at number 3 pound for pound. Every time we go from Darren Till to Brunson. These are stoppages. We go from Darren Till to Brunson to Robert Whittaker to Strickland to Adesanya. He always finds a way to be. These are different style opponents. And he finds a way. If you're good at striking, you're going to find yourself on the ground. If you're a ground guy, you're going to find yourself striking. Whatever it is you do, Be prepared to do something that's not associated with that. He is a mastermind. He's a genius. He gets under your skin. Even guys that are used to getting other people's skin, they are mentally broken down. People crying at the press conference. I've never seen anything like this. And then perceived dominance, Shell. Not only has he been dominant, I look at the landscape. He just beat Strickland. I mean, I'm interested to see Chimaev. Is he ever going to get in the ring with Chimaev? Chimaev got so many health issues. And I'm not so that Chimaev hasn't seen anybody like this. If I'm looking at both, I'm like, okay, he hasn't seen Duplessis. I'm like, Chimaev is explosive, but I get an edge to Duplessis. I'm like, let's Duplessis. I got Duplessis at 3. Every time I see him in the ring, constantly getting better. 8-0 in the UFC, 6 of the 8 by stoppages, bro. This is.
Yo, I just want to point something out to you. You say perceived dominance, which I agree with you. Perceived dominance is a factor that I use too. That's one of the factors I used to make Tom Aspinall number 2, because I see the landscape and I don't see no one. I don't see no one, bro. I see him lap in the heavyweight division the way that no other heavyweight champ has ever done before.
So, all right. So my issue with the Aspinall prediction, I don't think the heavyweight division is the deepest division like that. I don't think beating Curtis Blades. Yes, I like the Sergey thing. But I think we still needed to know how good Sergey really was. Like I don't think that was ever really established. Like he was hot, but he got stopped by Aspinall. Like I don't think his body of work says pound for pound, bro.
Here's my rebuttal
more than
today. Here's my rebuttal today,
bro. More than Topuria. You have him at number 2. So you telling me he's ahead of Islam and Topuria? No, like when you talk about perceived dominance. You have him ahead of Islam Makhachev. How is that possible?
Kev, I'm about to tell you right now. Going back to perceived dominance, I see him because the fights that I see him that I perceive that he could be having. John Jones, I seen him doing that to John Jones. Like I see him making John Jones look more human than anybody else. Pereira comes up there. I see him doing that same thing to Pereira. That's why I want perceived dominance, because these are the potential fights that he's a potential superstar. I could see the UFC set up super fights with this guy.
I just feel like you're going by too much potential as opposed to what's actually happening.
But it's perceived,
but that's, you know what that's like? That's like saying, you know how they used to have grading? They used to be like, yo, 25% is your homework, 25% is attendance, 25% is testing, and 25, you know, like they would have like a whole, like a breakdown of what your grades are going to be. So like if the whole thing is 100, 25% is your testing. 25% is your attendance. So it's like you're like, yo, in the case of Aspinall, 90% is perceived dominance, and the other rest is not. That's what I'm not like, bro. Like, that's what it looks like, bro. Like he hasn't, in comparison. I'm not in comparison to everybody else on the list. I don't. First of all, I don't think the heavyweight division is as good as the other divisions, which means the rest of what you're saying is perceived on future dominance. Like I don't see that. I disagree with that part. I don't disagree him being, if you want to put him on a list, but ahead of, I just think that's crazy based on what actually happened. Like I just think that's wild crazy. No, I hear you. All right, so I got Duplessis at 3. At number 2, I got Ilia Topuria, man. 16-0 overall, 8-0 in the UFC. He's giving it's not even that he's giving everybody the same treatment. It's like as the competition gets better, the treatment gets worse. Like it moved from decisions to stoppages, like to the point where the motivation is, well, give me this guy. I don't really want to fight in this. You remember when they was throwing Volk back at him after he beat Volk? He was like, I don't really want to.
I respect that, because none of us felt that. I remember when Volk walked in after the Holloway knockout to the guy that face. I'm like, why is he walking in here,
bro? I just
shout out to Volkanovski, but
like he's already proven how he's proven it, and what I see, bro. I see him making a run at lightweight. I think he can actually, you know what I mean? And this isn't 50%. 75% is what he's already done. The other 25%, I'm looking at lightweight. I think he can give Islam a run for his money. And maybe I might be in a minority in saying that. I have a feeling he might give Islam a run for his money. Every time the stakes gets higher, he shines brighter. I'm with Topuria, man. I got Topuria at 2. And number 1, man, Islam Makhachev. This is not close. This is like when he got knocked out, because I was looking for references when I had mentioned Peloton, and I was like,
Okay.
he got knocked out in 2023. I'm like, well, when did Makhachev got knocked out? 10 years ago. This was 2015. Ever since then, he's continued to be on a tear. We thought Oliveira was the man. He gave Oliveira the Islam treatment. Nobody's even, as much as we would like to see Oliveira fight, nobody's saying that would go any other way. When he was faced with adversity in the form of Poirier giving him a tougher fight than we expected, he pulled that out. When he fought Volk the first time, the fight got it harder than expected. He hung in there and pulled that out as well. Like whereas Khabib, we didn't see him in a hard fight, so we never knew how that would go. This is the total champion. Not only in his dominance, but when he's not dominant, he still finds a way to win, whether it's on the feet, on the ground, a total body of work. He has 3 top 5 pound for pound wins. He beat Volk twice, and he beat Oliveira, who was looked at as king of kings, who revived the whole division. He did that too. This is Islam, bro. It's not, and it's not close.